Hello and welcome back to another edition of the BC Storyboard. My name is Bo and today we're back in Jude. Today looking at Jude chapter 1 verses 8 through to 10. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read it out and then we're going to find out what we're actually looking at because I haven't actually read the text yet. So here we go. Jude verse 8. Yet in the same way these dreamers also defile the flesh, reject authority, and slander glorious ones. But when the archangel Michael contended with the devil and disputed about the body of Moses, he did not dare to bring a condemnation of slander against him, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." But these people slander whatever they do not understand, and they are destroyed by those things that, like irrational animals, they know by instinct. So there we go. So I have a couple of questions about this text, because when I first read it, the first thing that jumped out to me is like, Michael contending with the devil over a body? Like, what? Why are they doing that? Like, how is that spiritually relevant for us today? Why bother about a corpse? Like, another question I had is, this passage starts with, likewise, these dreamers da-da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like, why does that sound like it's sort of starting halfway through something? So I want to look at that a little bit. And thirdly, in verse 10, what does he mean by like brute beasts? So first things first, in verse 8, it says, likewise these dreamers defile the flesh, reject authority, and slander the glorious ones. Now, I'm a bit of a silly person, and I decided to break up this video so that it starts kind of halfway through one of his points. And the reason he's saying likewise is because it's actually the end of a series of points he's made previously. He said he had a point about the people out of Egypt who did not believe. If he destroyed them, and then the second example from the Bible he has is the angels who descended from their proper place and did all this crazy stuff with women, and they had all these half-angel babies that ended up being giants, which is a whole lot of interesting fun, but a lot of speculation. And then thirdly, an example from Sodom and Gomorrah, when, of course, the angels bring down the fire and consume the whole cities. And pretty much he's saying all those people, they rebelled against God. They disputed the natural order and they went against God's design and were essentially crushed for it. God just wiped them out. And Jude has finished saying that point, and now he's sort of bringing it into the real world that he's living in, to the people he's writing to, and he's saying, likewise, these false teachers that have come into your congregations, likewise, they are like this too. Now, the next issue in this, of course, is the one that interests me the most, is Michael and the devil fighting over a dead corpse. And I just think that would make the funniest movie or skit or something. Just these two angels just sort of, you know, fighting, and there's just this corpse in the foreground just like there, and the winner walks over the body and it's like, yes, I got it, and then they just go and, I don't know, throw it in the tomb or something. Like, just seems like the most pointless thing. So I did a little bit of the research, and it turns out this story is from a book written in the early 1st century. It's called The Assumption of Moses. I think it's also called The Testament of Moses. And essentially, it's a book that's not part of the Bible, but a lot of Christians were reading a whole lot of texts from the Apocrypha, and this is one of them, and a lot of people read this and they knew the story and they believed it to be true. And so Jude is using this as another way of giving an example of what these people are like. And the point being is that Jude is saying that these people are pretty much dissing angels. And the reason they were doing this is because the angels were the mediators of the Old Testament law, and of course they were saying that, oh, we're free in Christ, we can do whatever we want, including sleeping around. You know, the law is of no effect anymore. Now, they were connected the law, with angels. And they were dissing angels, and Jude's like, actually, no. I have an example here where Michael, the archangel, the most holiest person in creation, almost, is fighting with the devil, and not even he brought a slander or a, you know, an accusation against the devil, the one person who probably deserves it the most, and he chose not to. He actually relinquished I suppose, the liberty to make judgment and gave it to God, because he said, the Lord rebuke you. He chose not to. And he's saying, even if Michael is not bringing a slander against an evil angel, surely you, a human being who's sinful, shouldn't be bringing an accusation or a slander against the holy angels. So he's sort of giving him a bit of a, naughty. Thirdly, we have this passage where he goes on to say that, likewise, these people, they slander whatever they do not understand. So clearly they don't understand angels, and they're slandering something that they don't understand. And like brute beasts, they destroy themselves. And what he means by this is that when these people are preaching, their desires simply are like primal beastal ones. The desire to eat, sleep, mate, and fight. Those things that animals understand. And Jude's saying that these people, they're coming in here looking like that they're these great inspired teachers, when in actual fact all they're after are these primal things. And he's saying that eventually, like animals, these things are going to destroy them. And what he means by that is that they're just after these sinful things, and eventually it's going to come back and bite them, because they're dying in their sins. They have this form of holiness, but underneath they're wicked people trying to get after really, really terrible and base things. So anyway, that is Jude 8 to 10. That was fun to study. It's been a while. I'll be back soon with another video looking at Jude 11 and 12. So please come back to my channel, and I'll see you next time. God bless.